Afternoon. It's me, Alicia. I don't have Tish at the moment. She's snoozing. I'm wondering if because over the weekend she might have gotten out of whack a little bit and lost her schedule. Although yesterday she was bugging me at 4 o'clock and at 10 o'clock again. But she'll be back in routine. She'll probably be out here before we're done today. Welcome to Life on the Light Side. I'm not light in my dressing. I am heavy because it is cold. I don't know, right before noon, I think it was like 14 degrees. And I know I'm warm inside. Um, now that I'm especially dressed, my little cottage isn't the best insulated, so it does get a little chilly, but I got my heaters going and I got my all my layers going on so I stay warm. So, did you have a good weekend? Were you able to stay on the light side? I had a couple of times I thought, I think I just want to pop on to Facebook and say hi. Looks like my lipstick's cockeyed. Hang on a minute. I try wrong side. That's better. You're my mirror. So anyway, if you are new to Life on the Light Side, this is a way we stay up and energized, even though sometimes our day-to-day lives, especially if we're in self-isolation because of the COVID thingy, we want to stay positive. So in a world that is giving us some negative vibes, we're just getting together in the afternoon, having a little afternoon chat, and I hope you join me. You can go on to YouTube and type in Life on the Light Side, Alicia Leslie, and bingo, you'll find me there. And other videos that I've done, as well as Life on the Light Side. Got a bunch of stuff. So, anyway, let's get to today. I have my little list of National Day calendar. And today, one of the things is National Clean Out Your Computer Day. Does your computer need to be cleaned out? Yeah, well, I've been doing mine a little bit, and it's funny because I'm ahead of National Day calendar because it's just been bothering me. I've been saying, you got to get rid of stuff. Then there's the not so good getting rid of stuff thing where some of you know that my in December my computer crashed and I lost the hard drive, and so the man from the computer repair uh, he said he could rescue most of the data. And then I sent him a memory stick to put it on and asked him to send it back because, that way I didn't have to go out because I'm trying to isolate. What, 3 more weeks till I get my second vaccination. So I'm like, let's do it. And so anyway, I haven't gotten it back yet. And I keep saying to myself, that's a heck of a way to clean out my computer. But God's in charge. And I really do believe that if I had brilliant ideas that were on that hard drive, that they will be available to me. That they will come, that God will send me more and more divine ideas because divine ideas are unlimited. And as we hold a divine idea, we hold an idea, we draw more like energy. I got a story about that later, but not right this second. But another thing I've been getting rid of is all my scraps of paper that I put all my notes on, do this, all the things I haven't done. Guess what? Today is the 8th, and I got all little Valentine cards ready to go. Electronic, but there's those days you wake up on February 15th and go, oh, wait a minute, you know. And I've got my paperwork together for my taxes. And so I've been, being quite proactive in getting things done. It's also kite flying day. Well, with a whole bunch of new snow out there, we probably had 9 to 10 inches yesterday. It was very light and fluffy, but it was 9 inches. 10 inches, whatever. I just watched it build up on the railing outside. So clearly I'm not going to go try to fly a kite. You know, you got to run to fly a kite, and that doesn't work good. And I'm trying to think, when I heard it was kite flying day and I thought, geez, it's winter. Then I remembered there is an old video that I watched from an old book by Truman Capote called A Christmas Memory. And in the story, he's got an aunt who's a little bit off. I can relate. And they made kites together on Christmas. So they, for each other, you know, she's an adult and he was a child, but that was his great memory, that he made a kite with his aunt. And then they went out and they flew them and, you know, watched how they got taken off. We used to do that at the beach, not in the winter. Every summer we would spend at Hammonasset. We had a camper, and in those days you could bring it down to the beach on Memorial Day and pick it up, you know, take it back home on Labor Day and stay there all the time. And that, you know, that was one of those blessings that is amazing. It wasn't a fancy schmancy camper. It was just plain, but it served our needs and we got away from it all in a very good way. So anyway, that's National Kite Flying Day. You want to go fly a kite? More power to you, especially if you are in a place where you can run around outside, especially without a coat on. All right, it is also, this is interesting, football hangover day. Now, I know some people get together and, you know, they party. And if I had a hangover the day after the Super Bowl, that would probably be a food hangover. And food hangovers are not pleasant either. You feel like you haven't slept in a week and logy and miserable. And so that's the kind of hangover I would have after Super Bowl. But we don't want to talk too much Super Bowl today, because for me and my group, it was so uncomfortable. I couldn't watch it. I'd watch it a little bit and then I'd go, because we are Chiefs fans. Long time. And you might not know this, but the very first Super Bowl the Chiefs played in. How do you like that? I didn't know that. I found that out by accident with some kind of trivia questions that came up on the TV. But yeah, so that was a rough one. We're not gonna talk about that anymore. I chose to watch other stuff and I'd flip back because I was sure the Chiefs would pull it out. I was sure, but didn't happen. So much for that. Um, okay. And it's National Iowa Day. I don't know what that means, but we'll say, hey, Iowa, it's your day. And they're known for corn, aren't they? Iowa? Yeah, Iowa corn, Idaho potatoes. Corn and potatoes, potato chowder. Can't beat that. Oh, corn chowder. Sorry. Okay, so what was your weekend like? I hope you were able to stay up and stay on the light side. One of the ways I stayed on the light side was to take good care of myself and not push myself to do anything. On the one hand, I missed our daily videos. On the other hand, I was just able to chill and know there was something about knowing I had no appointments. I had no, you know, which would make me crazy long term, but short term, it was good. And I got to enjoy the snow. And we're having more tomorrow, but I'm not thinking that's going to be a big deal because I haven't seen any warnings. Then I think there's supposed to be more Friday or Thursday and Friday. So for all the snow we've missed the past several winters, I think we're getting it back. And one of the funnest things I did this weekend is I did like what do they call it? FaceTime, except I don't have an iPhone, so it was our version. It was Messenger video chat with my great grandson because he's in Florida and he does not remember snow because the first and only time he encountered snow, he was only 2 years old, 2.5, going on 3. That was the only time he experienced snow. So he may or may not have a vague memory of it, but I promised him the day before when I talked to him. That was fun. We made pizza for lunch with the portal. Portal, way to go if you got out of town loved ones, let me tell you. So anyway, I told him that if the snow was good, I'd take I'd go outside and show it to him. And so I went outside and showed it to him, and it was coming down, and I was making self-made snowballs and throwing them at him in the video. But it was good. These little things, they don't cost anything, but they are absolutely priceless, and they do keep us on the light side. We can feel it. This is what helps us get through difficult times. Now, I wanted to share a little bit about some other things that you may not even think about that help us stay on the light side in difficult times. And one of those, okay, so it's like 3 R's. It's routines, rites, and rituals. And they each have a little bit of their own flavor. Now, routines are what you do every day. They're kind of things that help us feel comfortable and like we have a foundation, just a daily mundane. I call myself the mundane mystic. It's about the spirituality of everyday life. And so a mundane routine for me is that you have these little things. I make my coffee before I go to bed at night. And I just get up in the morning and flip it. My goal one day is to have a small coffee pot that with the clock in it so I can set it and set it up at night and that coffee is ready for me. Now I know it's spoiled. It's spoiled because what's the difference between doing this and clicking on the thing to make the coffee maker work or getting up in the morning and walking and drinking. Oh golly, so that's kind of what my goal is anyway. Everybody needs a little luxury, right? So I'm holding off on that. But you have these routines that keep you grounded in everyday life. I get my coffee, I go to my room, I go back in my bed and watch a preacher and have some meditation time, journaling, that kind of thing. And then I get up and then I do jazzercise and this. I do, 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 do. These things are really important to have a foundation. Every once in a while, we break the routine just for the sake of kind of making sure we don't haven't developed habits. The routines have not become habits that are not helpful because routines can become unhealthy habits if we don't watch them. So, I wanted to point this out because when I lost my granddaughter when she passed away, and um, I was so devastated, understandably so. But my routines kept me going. I made the coffee the same. I brushed my teeth the same. I won't say that those first few days I didn't totally skip them. And I was going to go back and look in my journal and see how did I do that. and I couldn't. I'm not ready. I don't know if I'll ever be ready to go back and face that again. But the routines, once I, through the grieving process, those routines help. So whatever, if you're finding you're stressed out and you're sinking into the dark side instead of staying on the light side, um, think about your routines. Have you gotten off your routines? Do you need to get back to them? Do you need to establish something new? Healthy new behaviors to coping strategies. Um, okay. Thank you, Anna. She said you put your heart in everything you do, and it's great. And I know you do too. Okay, so then we have rites. Now, rites are established, ceremonial, usually religious, and can also be customs. So that doesn't necessarily mean there is a lot of meaning to what they are. That depends on what we give them. Rites are something that are usually performed at the church. You go to the church, whether it's communion or whether it's a special what they call in the traditional Catholic Church, they call it a holy day of obligation, and what I call a holy day of opportunity. It's an opportunity to reconnect at a higher level. And what makes a rite meaningful is how you experience it, and is it just something you do, or do you put your whole spiritual being into it? Understanding the evolution of some of the rites of the church, and not just doing them rotely, okay, makes a big difference. It's what in Unity we say life is consciousness. So it's a part of being conscious. And then rituals are a set of actions performed by symbolic value. Okay, like rites, rituals can also be very meaningful. They can also be very unhealthy. For example, if someone is obsessive compulsive, they have beliefs, rituals that they like. They have to check the door 3 times to make sure it's locked before they go. They don't have a lot of meaning in those rituals. Yet there are spiritual rituals, like for example, saying a rosary. That is it's a religious thing, but it's something you kind of do on your own, and it's the meaning you give it. I make my prayer beads, and I show people, that you can use them just as something you can touch. It's like you can touch God, or think of God as you touch these things. It's not prescribed by any organization or anything. It is something that is comes from inside. In the traditional Catholic Church, it says that a sacrament is an outward side instituted by Christ to give grace. Okay, that's what a sacrament is. I I put it in Unity terminology. It's kind of a more of an explanation of it that gives it hopefully deeper meaning. It is something you do on the outside that is inspired by spirit within, by Christ within, and it brings us to a higher place of consciousness. So that's another thing that can help you get on the light side. And I could go into that a lot deeper, but today's not today, because we want to finish up what we're looking at about staying on the light side today. Um, okay, so with doing your daily routines and rites and rituals, the things that you do to keep you grounded and on the light side, Sometimes you don't feel like it, but the important thing is to do it anyway, because it will take you higher and it will build for you a foundation. So when you get knocked down by life, you're standing on a firm foundation. It won't let you down. Very important to remember. Okay, now I've got a few other things for us to explore today. First of all, we haven't done trivia in a while. And it looks like Cheryl's not with us right this minute. She'll probably come in late. But it doesn't matter whether you have answers to these or not. If you do and you feel like popping it in, that's fine. If you don't, no biggie. This is for fun, not for any kind of a test you're passing. But I thought they were fun. So this says, how many wives did King Solomon have? Now, I'm going to give you a chance to think about that and answer it while I chit chat a moment. But he's got enough that I kept wondering. He asked first for wisdom and an understanding heart. And I don't know how a man who wanted wisdom and an understanding heart would want. Are you ready? 700 wives and 300 concubines. That's a lot. Most men have difficulty keeping one wife happy. Can you imagine 1,000? Well, you'd get to maybe uh, be with your husband once, or your, I don't know what you call the other half, a concubine. I don't know, lover, whatever. You would get to see them only once every 3 years. Oh, it's a lot of freedom for you. Okay. I don't know if you got that one or not, but a little eye opener there. Okay. Who shut the door of Noah's Ark? Do you know who did that? Well, it says God. I guess if God shut the door, it's shut. Probably gonna be shut until, until they want to get off. But the thing is, there's a lot of questions. That's the thing about, well, what do you believe? Do you believe there really was an ark? Do you believe, that they really did get two of everything? Did you? And that's not the point. The point of these things is to to me, okay, this is my interpretation, that it had two of every living creature, okay? So you would, the reason is that the male and the female energy work together, the thinking and the feeling. And that's what you need in order to procreate. So they would then say that that's why there were two of every animal. So once they get to land, once the flood is over, they could procreate. But it also, we have to remember, in our thinking process, in order to create and develop and manifest, we have to use both our thinking and our feeling. So that's a little aside. I wasn't intending on plugging in there. All right. Next. What street did Judas live on? Do you wonder? Wouldn't you want to know if the people on Jeopardy could answer that question? I have a real hard time watching Jeopardy because I can pretty much get through, the first level. But when it comes to this double Jeopardy or whatever the heck they call the second half, that is so discouraging because I feel so ignorant. And I want to make sure that I explain ignorant. You can't know what you never learned. So, we shouldn't feel bad about things that we don't know. Except I like to know the answers. I'm just saying. So anyway, uh Judas lived on Straight Street. How do you like that? Did you even know that they had, there's some words in the Bible that you go like, oh, I didn't know they had those words back then. And they're words that are very technical. And it's like, that we would think of more as a contemporary language, but they're back there, in the old versions. Okay. Well, and this, a lot of people know this. And so you may know it, you may not know it, but which apostle was the tent maker? Well, whether you're aware of it or not, it was Paul. And I find that pretty interesting because, when we talk about metaphysically about buildings, tents, temples, castles, it that represents your state of consciousness. And it's not only the item, the whether it's this kind of tent, that kind of tent, it's the condition the tent is in, how well it was made, etc. So because Paul went around, he was one of the apostles that taught most, because he became such a teacher, he was building consciousness, building tents, because that's what they lived in back then, the common people anyway. Okay. And I'm going to just leave it there because I see we are running out of time. And I got one other thing I wanted to do because I have a really, what I think is a cool story about it. And I just have a few of them. Um, this is on the 99 coping skills. So hopefully, if you're having any problem coping with anything today, this will help you. First of all, complete something you've been putting off. Now, that's what I alluded to that earlier about something I wanted to share with you. For quite some time, I stopped working on getting my novels back on Amazon because I was just once the COVID thing happened and we were isolated. My book that I'm republishing, Sour Grapes on Silver Platters, I needed a cover. I did all the work, but I didn't have a cover. I had to, the cover I had to change. And I just couldn't get it. I wanted one of my friends, Vicky, to be the woman on the cover. And we were supposed to get together and go to some wineries and take pictures around grapes and grapevines and all that stuff. And that was just out. We weren't going anywhere. So the cover didn't get done and didn't get done. And every once in a while I'd go online and I'd look for pictures I could use, and it was really hard. And so this past week I have said, no, I am going to get that book done. And I spent more and more time searching. And then by divine order, I truly believe this happens by divine order. I'm trying to figure out, God, I really want to get this done. How am I going to get this done? All of a sudden, bingo, the lights went off in my head. Those of you who enjoyed the picture that our friend Laura um, uh, put together, photoshopped or whatever it was, the one with Bernie and the mittens, and she did the picture of Bernie and me. Then I asked her if she would take Bernie and put him by a camper for our campground newsletter, and she was so kind to do that. And then I said, oh, I gotta ask Laura. And so I asked her, and she is, as we speak, working on the cover for Sour Grapes on Silver Platters. So, Lord willing, you're going to see that back up on Amazon very soon. And you will see Vicky gracing the cover because um, I snagged pictures from her Facebook page. She knows it. I asked her, and she's like, oh, yeah, of course. So let's see. That was a great adventure. Okay. So what have you been putting off? Get to it. You haven't got much time left. we're going to be out of this COVID thing soon. And when we're out of it, we're going to say, oh, I wish I'd have gotten this and that done. Now is the time. You got it now. You can't go running around doing other stuff. Do it now. All right. Look up recipes and cook a meal. Well, those of you who have been following me know that I am making recipes and looking up recipes, making stuff. And the other day, I made sweet potato coconut curry soup because I bought this can. Do you ever go to the grocery store and you buy something and you go like, I always wanted to use coconut milk, but what do I do with it? Well, I think the can was in there for like 3 years, but it was still within date. I'd probably use it if it was a year over anyway. I'm alive. So I said, oh, I got that coconut milk. I'm going to make this soup. My stars. So good. So good. There's so many ways we can expand even when others might contract, right? And then the last one, which is the icing on the cake. You know, when we discover that when we get validated that we were correct or that we were on the right track, you know how that lifts you up? It lifts you up the same way as finding out you made a big mistake brings you down. So, I told you, I think before that my daughter and she lives like thousands of miles away, and we watch a movie every night. It's our little get together and watch TV thing through a program called Watch Party. You can use Watch Party on Hulu, excuse me, and you can watch it, use it with Prime, and you also can use it, I believe, with Sling. I'm not sure about Netflix, but those are programs that use Watch Party. So you two, one of you starts the Watch Party, and then some of them have up to 7 people that can watch with you. Some have up to 100 people can watch with you. But this is just Mimi and me. And we watch a movie every night. And so let me tell you something. I'm the movie finder. And she prefers me to try to find movies that she has not, that I haven't seen. So neither one of us have seen them. We have had some real adventures in finding movies. And I can't tell you how many times the description sounds safe, sounds like an interesting enough premise of the story. And then there come these hot sex scenes or really vulgar language. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't want to watch this. I especially don't want to watch it with my daughter. But you get through, finish the movie because it doesn't like it's like this much of the movie, but it wasn't necessary. It didn't have to be there. So we've had some successes and we've had some, and every time when we watch at the end, I go, so did you like it? And she will say, it was okay. Yeah. But last night we watched a different one. And I didn't know if she was going to like it because it was old. It's called The Long, Long Trailer with Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. And that is the first drive-in movie I ever remember going to. My mom made popcorn and put it in a paper grocery bag, put some butter on it and shook it. I can still see the little grease spots on the bottom for where she put in the butter. And we were all excited to go. And as the day came on, it got cloudier and cloudier, and then it started to sprinkle. And like, can we still go to the drive-in? And my mom said, "Yeah, we're going." And we went to the drive-in, and it rained a little. My dad had just with the windshield wipers, and it was The Long, Long Trailer. So that was just, you know what I'm thinking about it now? I'm pretty sure it wasn't long after that we got the camper. I'll bet we weren't going camp. I'll bet my mom thought about, ooh, we could use a camper after she saw that movie. Anyway, when the movie was over, I said to Mimi, How'd you like it? And she said, I loved it. You know, a lot of people think they are keeping movies popular by filling them with violence and sex and disrespect and things that sell. Sex sells. That's why they put the scantily clad girl on laying across a motorcycle. People tend to think the girl goes with the bike, which it doesn't. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that little story. You'll probably hear about that again in one of my Rise of the False Gods, because I know that part is in there, and a story about Lucy and Desi as well, which you'll just have to check into those videos if you want to see that. I want you to have a great day and stay on the light side no matter what's going on. And I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye bye.